Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode 4. After this, you'll be begging for more. It is every man for himself. It is I, KJ Johnson, alongside
Just John.
Just
him.
Welcome to the Colossal Tussle Podcast, episode 4.
Yes,
Just
sir.
John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, bud. How are you?
I'm all right. Cannot complain because I'm taking my victory lap at the moment, as I has been for the last couple of weeks now, because this land is mine, sir. This land is mine.
I'm supposed to be the AEW guy, and somehow I overthought my picks. I overthought them.
So yeah, for you listeners during the AEW Revolution predictions, I won resoundingly with bonus points, correct predictions aplenty.
Yeah.
Stopped keeping count after a while because I was whooping that ass.
Yeah, that's true. You even got the bonus.
I did.
The bonus one right.
I did on both counts.
I was just all over the place with my picks.
You were.
Oh boy.
But overall, what did you think of the show?
The show was incredible. Just the thing that I think AEW is struggling with right now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
The show is like almost 4 hours long.
Yes. Very long show.
Probably even more. I can't really remember, but yeah, this show is long as hell. But it was a great show. Like if you watch it piece by piece, like every match is incredible. There was a couple low spots in the show, but that's mostly because it's a 4-hour show. There's no way to keep the audience invested that long, right?
Indeed. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker suffered.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But hey, I mean, a lot of the show was knock it right out of the park. Jericho and Eddie Kingston kicking us off, and that was very good. You had the ladder match and another spectacular match in which Wardlow picked up the victory.
Yep.
Yeah, just a great showing all around. William Regal debuting
smacking
for
the shit out of
AEW.
everybody.
Yes. And that was my highlight of the show. And then of course you have the dog collar match, which caps off one of the best storylines that AEW, and I would say all of wrestling, has done in quite some time.
Adam Cole came out with one of the worst costume designs I've ever. I'm not big of a Halo guy, so I don't know if maybe the Halo community liked it, but I was not a fan of the.
Very lost on you.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the vest armor thing.
Well, I mean, to each their own. Everybody has their little niche.
Listen,
I
guess even the Jade Cargill Tay Conti match was decent. Everyone knew what was gonna happen, but they still found a way to keep us invested in the match. So that was surprising,
including a little kiss.
I don't know what that was.
Smoocheroo.
Yeah, Jade's entrance was badass.
It was.
That was badass.
Yes, she's very much a star, and yeah, destined for great things. So let's hope that they capitalize on the women's division a bit more here, because yeah. I mean, in the current time, Thunder Rosa has just won the AEW Women's title, taking it off Britt Baker, who had an extraordinary run.
Yeah, but I think it was starting to get a bit
stale.
Yeah.
So they're changing it up. Maybe it's a couple of weeks too late, but still it happened in the hometown, got the huge ovation. So there you go, you have that.
Yeah, because even in it was the Revolution match, or was the match after it where they did the whole Thunder Rosa has to qualify. It was on the Dynamite. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that kind of was just over. It was just overkill. I'm just like, let's end this feud.
Yeah,
so we can just move on.
They clearly wanted to stretch it so that they could get the hometown thing.
Yeah. But then at that point, why have the women's match at Revolution? Have like a tag match or something.
Yes. Yeah. That probably would have been preferred.
Yeah.
Probably would have been the better route taken, but we got there in the end, John.
Yeah, we
got there in the end.
It was a bumpy ride. very painful, but we're here.
Yes.
We are here.
Yeah. So the show overall, I mean, what would the grade out of 5? What would you give it in total?
4.5.
4.5.
4.5. Again, just the length of the pay-per-view made it was kind of off. So the couple matches that were in those time slots that people were like, hey, I need to get up and, go to the washroom, or I'm just not interested. Like those matches kind of suffered, but overall, great pay-per-view.
Yes. I was, at the point where I'm watching the triple threat tag match, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm like, my God, I'm actually enjoying wrestling for a change, And I was like, this is an incredible pay-per-view just on that alone. And I did fall asleep before the main event. I had to catch some Z's.
Yeah, because I remember I texted you during the main event, and
I got no response at that point. Yeah, I was emotionally worn out by the dog collar.
Yep.
And after Brian and Moxley and the William Regal thing, I was I was pissing my pants. I was so excited and just tired, and then I just passed out. So I did have to watch the main event in a separate sitting, which probably was to its benefit.
Yeah,
because I think had I watched that match,
you wouldn't have felt the same way.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away by the match, but I was much more entertained, and I know for a fact that had I been doing it through sleepy eyes in the first round, I would have not hated it, that's a strong word, but I would have been thoroughly disappointed. And it was as I suggested, as we talked about, that collar match probably should have been the main event.
Should have been the main event. Yep.
But
because everything after that just suffered.
Yes, yeah, I thought it definitely suffered. Not that it was bad, the quality, and I think they still kind of were getting reactions.
Yeah,
towards
at times
the
the
end.
crowd would, because again the performers in AEW are elite, so they know how to wake up a crowd, but every now and then you could just see them kind of like cry.
Yeah, like they were trying their best.
Yeah.
But I think a tight 3 hours, maybe 3.5 at a stretch. But once you're going over that time, I don't think any wrestling event deserves to be, 4 hours.
Yeah, no, wrestling fans, I think like the max they can take is like 2 hours, 3 if it's like a pay-per-view level thing. And that's why I think like, programs like Raw always suffer, because like first 2 hours, it's a solid episode. That last hour, that's when you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
Things are falling apart at the seams, But overall, great show. You give it 4 out of 4.5. I would agree with you with a 4.5, having settled in and actually think, because, I would have been like, 5 stars, 5 stars, all day, every day. But no, it goes to the 4.5.
Okay. So, since you are the winner of the prediction battle, what are you going to pick for us to review?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a good question, because I've wanted to break your heart.
Oh, boy.
I've really wanted to break your heart, And I was trying to think, well, what did John love, back in the day? What could I really just drive the knife in with him? Okay. And I've come up with a couple of options. And you're going to choose right here live on air.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, because we could watch WCW's New Blood Rising in the year 2000 to make you just hate wrestling in general and really kill your spirit with that. Or we could do the day that the Nexus died.
Oh, no.
SummerSlam. 7-on-7.
I remember watching that. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Honestly, I would go for that one, though.
Wonderful.
I want to relive that pain. I remember that like it was well, I think every wrestling fan remember that moment.
Yeah, because it means nothing to me. I didn't care about the Nexus too much then. I don't
Really?
care about them now.
You were not a Nexus guy?
I was not a Nexus guy. I
Wow.
was not a Nexus guy. I was completely fine with the Nexus, but I think I was completely tainted having watched the first series of NXT and watching how all of these people were systematically dismantled and humiliated.
Listen, I've watched every episode of early NXT. I watched the Nexus invasion thing.
Yes.
Like I've been with them
whole
even during the core
Yes.
era. Remember
Yeah.
that? Yes.
Yeah.
All that. So yeah, I that's one of the pay-per-views I absolutely hate because they just killed the perfect fucking. They were basically Bullet Club before Bullet Club, and no one gives them their fucking props. And I hate it. All you people with Bullet Club shirts, it all came from the Nexus and MWO or whatever.
Hot takes.
The Nexus was like the greatest thing ever, and Vince just peed all over it.
Yep. And you're gonna relive it, brother.
Oh,
you are going to relive that after, of course, we get through our next couple of our next couple of episodes, of which we are getting into today with the Royal Rumble 1990 coming up a little bit later. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to breaking your goddamn heart live on air. It's gonna be great.
I think there's gonna be a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming in that episode. I might call Vince a couple of names that I don't think are appropriate. But hey, we're gonna get through this together as a family.
Yes, the Colossal Tussle family. Yep. Wonderful. And so before we get into the Royal Rumble 1990, we do have to take this moment to come into the timeline of current day Scott Hall, who just recently passed on Monday. This is currently Friday, of which we are recording. Scott Hall at the age of 63, I believe.
Super young. Yep.
Yes, very young.
Yep.
Went in for a hip operation and unfortunately suffered a blood clot in which caused 3 apparently massive heart attacks. He was on life support and the family had chosen to relieve that life support. And yeah, Scott Hall has passed away. So your memories or favorite moments or just comments about our Scott Hall?
No, he's literally one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I literally have a painting of him and Shawn Michaels from their ladder match in my house. So yeah,
I've never seen that.
I'm a huge Scott Hall fan, Razor Ramon fan. I think most people, our generation, though, we're the same age.
Yes.
Our first introduction to a cool wrestler, what a cool wrestler could be, I think was Scott Hall. So there was I was on Twitter when he passed, and there was people that probably haven't watched wrestling since they were 5. Grieving over this because he had that much of an impact.
Yes, incredibly influential person in the world of wrestling, just all around. Kicking it off as the Diamond Stud. Yeah, with Oz. Moving over, getting his big break as
one of
Razor
the
Ramon.
Greatest mustaches in professional wrestling history.
Absolutely. Can't deny it. But Razor Ramon, that gimmick was it was so funny. It was so cool. And it was
such a good gimmick that his past wrestling career just didn't exist all of a sudden. That's how good this gimmick was. To most people, it starts with Razor Ramon. That's how popular it was.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, going over to WCW, changing the landscape there, starting the NWO, because in kayfabe, at least, he's the guy that started it. He was the first guy there. So for kayfabe standpoints, he's the one that fired the first shot and changed the business there as well. And
part of the curtain call as well.
Yeah, part
another
of the
big
call.
Moment.
Yes, a lot of significant moments that have passed through because of Scott Hall and Scott Hall's influence, and
also because of him going to WCW, we got Fake Razor.
Yes!
Which is, that's also an important moment in wrestling history.
Yeah, totally. Fake Razor, Fake Diesel. Where would we be without them? Where would we be?
You look back at those and you're like, yeah, those completely look like Razor and Diesel.
Yeah, that to me, that was the peak of the Monday Night War. Quite honestly.
I don't know how Raw went on to lose after that.
Yeah.
But,
it was amazing that the ratings didn't turn around right then and there. Because shots were fired. Yep. It was to the core, cut deep. The man, the man had such a hard life.
Oh my God.
Such a hard life. Dealt with his demons for so long. It was great that he was able to clean it up. In the latter half of his life, he gets to go into the Hall of Fame. DDP is a miracle worker, obviously. He got to have a bit of a renaissance of his, at least from a personal perspective of his career. He was looked at a lot more fondly, I believe, once he was cleaned up than the former. But yeah, a terrible shame having to pass away at such an early age, but...
And if anyone has the time, I really recommend watching the documentary that they did on him.
Yes.
That's like, I've watched that documentary maybe twice because you just can't get through it. Like it's his life was very, very sad.
Oh yeah, very tough.
Even his time in professional wrestling, was not, even at its peak, was not like his high moments in life. So if you do have the time, I highly recommend that documentary.
Absolutely. And of course, going back and watching a whole bunch of matches from him, he's had so many great matches. The latter matches with Shawn Michaels, he had a lot of good matches with Harlem Heat and the Steiner Brothers when he went to WCW.
The classic with 1-2-3 Kid.
Exactly. Yeah, the 1-2-3 Kid Raw moment. He's done quite a good batch of wrestling moments and memories, and he's a guy that is going to truly be missed. He apparently had one of the best minds in the business as well when he was sober. So with that caveat, but yeah, great guy. I always loved Scott Hall, always loved Razor Ramon, always one of my favorites, and yeah, he will be missed. All
right. Segue time.
Segue time to the Royal Rumble 1990.
Let's
it is
back into the DeLorean.
Absolutely.
Let's get back into the DeLorean.
It is every man for himself, the road to WrestleMania 6, and the ultimate challenge. It's the Royal Rumble 1990, John.
Yep.
Taking place January 21st, 1990, from the Orlando Arena.
In Orlando, Florida.
Exactly.
In
case we don't know.
Right.
16,000 fans packing the place. The buy rate, 265,000. Up by a huge amount, by 100,000 as a matter of fact, 165,000 the previous year. That is, of course, the one in which Big John Studd won.
Yeah.
So let's see if the winner of this one, of this Royal Rumble, will be a bit more prestigious.
Let's hope so.
Let's see. It is every man for himself. 30 men, one winner. Who's going to WrestleMania?
Commentators for the show, Tony Schiavone, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Tony and Jesse in the World Wrestling Federation. How do we feel about this?
They had a weird chemistry the whole night. They had a very weird chemistry the entire night.
Yeah. They would end up getting better in WCW because they had a short stint there, did Jesse Ventura during that time. But here, it's just very much fish out of water for Tony Schiavone.
Yeah. Because he was doing like the whole asshole type of commentary.
Yeah.
But then you also have Jesse there.
Yeah.
So they just didn't play off each other for that era and that company, is what I'm saying.
Not very great. Starts out, of course, with the belittlement of Tony Schiavone, with Jesse the Body offering a Mickey Mouse hat for Tony Schiavone to wear Tony respectfully says that he'll put it on later. He never does, which I feel is just a missed opportunity all around. But let's see how they fare tonight. So let's kick us off. Kicking us off hot. The Hall of Fame duo of the Bushwhackers. Taking on the Rougeau brothers with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Okay, two things about that.
Yes.
The Rougeau brothers have a great entrance theme that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yes.
And also, I fucking hate the Bushwhackers. Like, with every fiber of my being, I hate the Bushwhackers. It's such a dumb gimmick.
Yeah.
And I do, again, old school fans, I do not want to see you talk about the New Day and them dancing to the ring. I saw the video. You guys were doing that stupid Bushwhacker dance the whole night.
Yeah.
I saw you.
And the thing is that even the Bushwhackers, as very mediocre as they are still red hot with this crowd. The crowd is lightning hot for the entire bulk of this show, but certainly for the Bushwhackers who come out.
They were doing the whole arm thing. They were really into this match.
Licking the heads to begin.
Hate every one of you who cheered them.
Yeah, you know. Butch getting out of the sleeper early on. Butch bites bums is next on the docket as he bites the bum of Raymond Rougeau and the referee, and that doesn't result in a disqualification.
No, it just got a loud cheer.
Just a loud cheer.
Because you guys are the fucking worst. Yeah. I think this is my heel episode. I hate you.
And they follow it up with the battering ram, and the boys have to powder out. As I said, the Bushwhackers, they are red hot, super over. This crowd is all into it. Jacques and Luke back in the ring, and Raymond Rougeau takes a cheap shot in order to gain the control. The heat is on. Luke getting beaten down, beaten to a pulp. Jacques does a kip-up taunt. Just for no reason, just drops down, does a kip-up taunt in the middle of his heat. I'm thinking that 2K people are really loving this right now. Just exactly what you need in order to get that 69% momentum up to a 72. Jacques ends up going for a splash at some point, but Luke gets the knees up. And after a considerable time of heat, it's a hot tag to Butch.
Hot tag to Butch. Oh my god.
Listen, man, Butch runs wild on the Rougeau brothers, but there's a little bit of miscommunication at one point with a Boston Crab leg drop combo by the Rougeau brothers, but it is broken up, and then quickly the Bushwhackers followed up with a battering ram to finish it off. They pin Jacques Rougeau. Bushwhackers win in our opening contest.
I give that whole match a -5 out of 5.
My God.
Just absolutely hate the Bushwhackers. The fact that they just kept getting cheers is just...
I mean, yeah, there's no denying that this is their spot. The opener, getting the crowd absolutely hot for more action. They are not going to blow you away. It's not, a rocker special. It's the Bushwhackers doing what the Bushwhackers do best.
Just mowing down people and licking and biting and all that shit.
And sticking shenanigans.
Fucking...
the
worst.
It was a hot match to start, but definitely not a technical masterclass by any means.
No, like, putting my hate aside, for the time and just the overall feel of the pay-per-view, this was a good match because it got the crowd hot from the get-go.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna give them that.
Yes.
But then they cut to the back where they're interviewing Ted DiBiase and Virgil, and they're basically talking about the angle that happened last year where I think he came in
number 30.
Yeah, number 30.
Yes.
And this year,
he's coming in number one. And Virgil is the one that picked it. So it's all Virgil's fault. So even from here, they're sowing the seeds of dissension, which I find kind of intriguing that they don't pull this off until a year later at the Royal Rumble in '91. But interesting to see that Virgil is already getting crapped on. Lovely stuff. Okay. So, coming up next, after we talk about that interview, is the Genius versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. The Genius starting off with a poem here, and it ends with, "I'm the smartest man, and Beefcake's double dumb." Let that sit with you.
It was a simpler time. Then we go back into the ring, and Brutus is making his entrance, and again another huge pop. Like this whole crowd that night was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely absurd.
Yep.
The amount of admiration that the Beefcake is getting, because you hate the Bushwhackers. I cannot stand Brutus Beefcake.
I love Brutus Beefcake.
Oh God.
He has a great name, has a great entrance music. He has a wonderful gimmick where he gives free haircuts. He's the best.
You're unbelievable. Unbelievable. This man had no business being in the position that he was in for the length of time that he was in it. And it's not as bad now, but when we get to WrestleMania, I have major bones to pick with Brutus Beefcake.
I completely disagree with you. He was great. He was amazing.
Okay.
I love Brutus.
Well, we kick it off. Genius versus Beefcake. Genius prances into the ring, prances to the middle, and then just prances away. You know? Starting it off with and Jesse with a weird call. Or excuse me. Not Jesse. It was Tony Schiavone there. That says, no one shakes hands with their left hand, do they?
I've heard that from old people before.
Have you?
I've heard that from old people before.
I've never heard
Apparently,
this.
It's like a sign of disrespect or something if you shake with your left hand.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I'm left-handed, so that's all I shake with.
No, I've heard that from a lot of old people. That you can't do that.
Tony Schiavone, the old curmudgeon, obviously.
Yes. But to be fair, this match was. I had a blast watching this match. Just piling onto your Brutus. I enjoyed this match so much.
Okay, well, you know what, pal? Then you go ahead. You take us through this masterpiece, because I have nothing but mockery for this.
No, like the match starts off with the Genius doing some excellent stalling. Like it was to the point where I was starting to get frustrated. Like, come on, just get in there. Like it was some great stalling. Hold on, I lost my notes here. I think a lot of people also forget how good of a wrestler the Genius was because his gimmick was so fucking dumb.
Yes.
I think a lot of 80s wrestlers, their ability gets kind of like cut in half because they had such dumbass fucking
I would say so. I would
gimmicks.
Agree. Yes.
But no, he was great, and this whole match was great. After a while, they knock out the referee, and Brutus gets a chance to give him a little bowl cut, you know, at the end of the match.
That's right. Yeah.
But halfway through, Mr. Perfect comes down, and he's siding with the Genius. Do you know the backstory for that? Like why he chose?
Well, I think this is actually the beginnings of the feud that's going to end up going on until WrestleMania 6. Because up until this point, they've just been like, not necessarily allies, but they've been talking favorably about each other, and this is the first time that they've had any like serious interaction. The Genius and Perfect.
Yeah, because even in the WrestleMania review that we're gonna do later on, he's also with Mr. Perfect, and I'm like, when?
Yeah.
So they were
the first alliance for Perfect before he moves on to bigger and bobbier things.
Okay. But yeah, they both beat up Brutus. People come down, try to separate them.
Yeah.
And then it was announced that they were both disqualified because this is the 80s, remember?
Yes.
And yeah, those are most of the notes I have for this match.
Oh, well.
But it was I personally enjoyed this match a lot.
Found this as dull as dishwater.
Oh my god.
I was so annoyed by this match because of the person involved. I like the genius. I like the idea of the genius. Yeah. But this idea, like all of this like posturing, like they don't do anything. And they've got like 8 minutes to fill, and it feels like an eternity. It feels like it took 20 minutes to get through this match. Because he starts with the prancing, and then he goes for the handshake with the left, which is apparently an abomination. Then he goes
for heel work.
Yeah. Then he runs outside, does a cartwheel, comes back in. Brutus does a mockery. Heel work. Like, it's just nothing but bullshit for the first, 5 minutes of this match.
No.
And then the most amazing move, the first move that I have, is an atomic drop. And Genius doesn't take a bump. He just jumps out of the ring.
How do you not enjoy that?
I was over it. I was over it very quickly. The only bit of it that I was any bit entertained by was Perfect's run in and attack, because it sets up for the match down the line. And boy, when we get there, I've got some feelings to dish out. But yeah, ends in a double DQ finish. Genius gets a little bit of a trim, but ultimately the heels walk away. Backstage with Mooney,
the great Sean Mooney,
the Moonation. Backstage with Bobby the Brain Heenan, Andre the Giant, Rick Rude, and Haku.
Yes, people. Haku was there. He was just kind of behind Sean Mooney, but he was there.
He was there. He was involved.
Yes.
The family try to suggest that they're going to be a tight-knit unit in the Rumble match, but that quickly breaks down when Mooney starts to sow a little seeds of dissent, that little bitch. Getting the family to argue about who will win the Royal Rumble. Everybody storms off in a huff.
And Rick Rude was in great shape at this time.
Oh, phenomenal.
God damn.
Phenomenal shape. Rick Rude at this point, I think he was probably getting ready to get into world title condition. Shortly after WrestleMania 6 is when he gets involved in the championship picture, which we'll get into later on down the line. But right now, he's not really doing much of nothing, and that's a shame. No. So, moving on, right back into wrestling action. And this match is admittedly quite weird.
Very weird.
Very weird. It
Very
is
fucking
Greg
weird.
the Hammer Valentine taking on Ronnie Garvin in a submission match, a.k.a. PG I Quit, though they can't say I quit, even though they accidentally say I quit at one point.
And I'm also pretty sure none of them are submission wrestlers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you could argue that Valentine's finisher is the figure 4 leg lock, but I think that would be about the extent of the submissions that are involved. It is an I Quit match. It is what is supposed to be an I Quit match, but I believe during the time period,
they just called it a
too
submission.
graphic to be an I Quit match. However, this feud, I don't know if you know about this, this feud has been going on for damn near 2 years' time.
So I was reading about that. I didn't actually go back because I don't care about them that much.
Oh, but the big K-Bones did. So let's break it down. In December of 88.
Oh, you actually have notes on it. You are a professional.
I'm bringing the bread and butter to this, okay? We need a stable foundation for the Colossal Tussle.
Let's set the picture.
Yes.
For Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Listen, it's the longest running fucking storyline in the World Wrestling Federation at the moment. It's a disservice to not do it. Otherwise, this entire blood feud is empty.
All right, take it away for our blood feud.
So in December of 1988, on an episode of Superstars in a retirement match, Greg the Hammer Valentine beat Ronnie Garvin. And therefore, Ronnie Garvin was forced to retire.
So this this whole thing shouldn't be happening.
This whole thing should not be happening as of December 88.
Okay.
However, Garvin goes on to play some different roles in the World Wrestling Federation. He becomes a ref and ends up giving Jimmy Superfly Snuka a match, costing Greg Valentine a victory.
Okay.
And then he's a ring announcer at SummerSlam 1989, in which he throws a lot of verbal barbs at Greg Valentine. A lot of those, you're stinky, you're smelly.
Oh, no.
Yeah, your house is made of poo, you know?
Oh, boy.
And, yes, so he ends up costing Greg Valentine the match in that sense as well. I cannot confirm that. I couldn't find the match at all, and I couldn't find a record of said match, so I guess I need to dig a little deeper, because it doesn't list his opponent. It just says that it's SummerSlam 89. Garvin was a ring announcer.
Okay.
Anywho, Greg, so absolutely mortified by Garvin's actions that he demands a reinstatement of Ronnie Garvin, of which is granted. Moving into Survivor Series of 89, they are on opposite teams. Greg the Hammer Valentine's team wins. He is part of the King's Court team with Macho King Randy Savage, the Canadian Earthquake, Dino Bravo, and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
So you're saying that George Garvin, Ron Garvin,
Ronnie.
No, wait. So Greg the Hammer Valentine was so upset.
Yes.
That they called him a stinky face.
Yeah.
That he got the guy who he retired
back.
He got him a job back.
Got him back.
Just so he can beat his ass.
Yes.
Okay, I'm loving it so far.
And now we're here.
Okay. Okay.
And now we're here. Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Ronnie Garvin in a submission match with the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, in his corner. So here's the thing. It is the Heartbreaker versus the Hammer Jammer. Did you know that these were the names of the pads on the calves of our competitors?
Yes, because I was watching the match, and again, we'll get into the match in a little bit. But I was watching the match, and then someone got hit with the object. And commentary said he got hit with the Heartbreaker.
Yes.
So then I was like, what the fuck is the Heartbreaker? So that's why I had to go back and hear the stupid story of why that was important.
Absolutely. Because, of course, the Heartbreaker is on the leg of Greg the Hammer Valentine, and he's using that as the pressure application during the source of the figure four leg lock. Yep. So Garvin has countered with the very impressive identical Hammer Jammer.
Yep.
So as the match gets started, very weird that they are using pinfalls and using inside cradles and roll-ups.
Yes, I actually wanted to talk about that, because that to me was one of the, like, I was kind of into the match, but that took me out, because that's like one of the dumbest thing a wrestler could possibly do is go for a pinfall.
Yeah.
Like, and I see people going like it was the heat of the moment, but it's like, no, because, I'm not taking that as an excuse.
They did it about 5 or 6 times during the match as a transition. And the thing is that if you do it once, maybe twice, okay, each man has done it because they're exhausted, whatever. But the fact that they're using it as transitional moves, and furthermore, they would know the fucking rules because one of them has asked for this match.
And I forgot who it was, but I remember Ronnie Garvin. He rose up Greg the Hammer Valentine, and both men see that the ref isn't counting.
No.
But Greg, for some reason, reversed it into his own pinfall. And I'm like, you just saw what happened a second ago. Why would you try to reverse this pinfall?
Exactly.
That just took me out the match. I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
And I think it took the crowd out of the match as well, because what little heat that they had going into this, because this feud has been going on for a very long time, and these guys aren't necessarily promo magicians. And bless Jimmy Hart, he can only bring so much heat to the battle when you're going up against the likes of Ron Garvin. Sorry, Ron. Anyway, Garvin delivers...
Poor Garvin just catching
whatever.
strays.
Whatever. Garvin at one point tries to hit a drop kick, but gets hooked up in the ropes. Jimmy Hart takes the opportunity to take off the hammer jammer because earlier on in the match, Greg Valentine tried to lock in the figure four, and Garvin no-sold it because of the hammer jammer. Okay, so now good sell from Ronnie Garvin after. Once he's in the figure four leg lock the second time, having the hammer jammer been removed, he sells it quite well. And that I will give it to him. Towards the latter half of this match, I felt it was getting pretty good. They were hitting their stride. They had a good long time to tell the story. Shortly after Garvin gets out of the figure four, the Heartbreaker comes off. So both men's calves are exposed.
They're telling a story, folks. It's
Absolutely.
not the greatest, but there's something there.
It's a story. It's a story. And so, Garvin picks up the Heartbreaker and uses it on Greg the Hammer Valentine. He then locks in the Sharpshooter. Very interesting. The Sharpshooter, in order to pick up the victory, Greg the Hammer Valentine submits.
Yeah.
This was very much a middle of the roads match.
I think it was just like, hey, we need a couple minutes. You guys have that dumbass feud here. Finish it. Finish it at this pay-per-view.
Yes. And I figure if it took a more brawl approach and actual nature of an I Quit match, I think we would have had a much more exciting match. You don't have to bleed, and it doesn't have to be like, blood and guts and tables and chairs, but have a brawl. These two men,
and they started like that.
Piss out of each other. Exactly.
It started, but then for some reason they were just like, I'm not that mad at you anymore.
They just transitioned to this weird hodgepodge of wrestling. And it made for a weird experience, but, nevertheless. Backstage!
To Mean Gene.
Mean Gene! Okerlund with Mr. Perfect. He talks of Brutus Beefcake, says that he came to his aid of the Buddy the Genius, and this is just the beginning for he and Beefcake. And also that he's drawn the perfect number.
The perfect number.
The perfect number 30. Mr. Perfect will be number 30. Ted DiBiase will be number 1. How do you feel about, because at the time, this was a regular occurrence that actually all of the participants were named, so there was no surprises, and also that the numbers of certain wrestlers are being just told outright before the show. How do you feel about this?
I didn't mind it that much, especially with what happened this year with our Royal Rumble. But like the one thing I did like about this whole the whole pay-per-view so far is that your number mattered back then. I feel like now it's just like, send people out there, get a loud pop or whatever. But back then they were actually treating this, with a little bit more respect. So like, when someone got the number 30, it's because he's perfect or whatever. Number 1 was like a curse. Number 2, I don't think anyone's won for like your number mattered. In thing. But now, I think there was one year that Rey Mysterio came in at number 30 and no one really cared. People come in at number 27, which used to be like the number, and now people come in at number 27 like it's nothing. So I feel like I like that back then. There was still that importance of what number you got, because like this whole like secret Royal Rumble thing didn't happen till like the 20.
It was a very long time.
2010,
very long time.
Because I remember even like in the early 2000s where it was still like a big thing what number you would get, right? So I enjoyed that part where, even though it ruins the surprise, it gives the match a more authentic feel now.
Yes.
Sorry to
very
say
true.
That,
very true. Keeping it professional. It's the Brother Love Show.
I could not wait to get to this part.
I love you. Yes, this was the Brother Love Show.
This was amazing.
With sensational Queen Sherry
Love
and
that woman.
Sapphire. Yes, indeed. So,
So before all of that,
yes.
Brother Love just kind of starts off on, a typical 80s, women shouldn't be fat type of promo. Just a decent, de- decent, women belong in the kitchen. Like the typical, 1990s promo before he introduces, a not fat woman and
Yeah.
sensational Sherry.
The queen, as a matter of
The
fact.
queen.
A queen. Yes.
And
Yeah. This segment, I mean,
it was amazing.
like, I'm not saying that it was a bad segment. It was not a bad segment, but I feel like it was getting off the rails in points very quickly. So Brother Love introduces Queen Sherry, as you said, first. They go about, like, they're taking jabs at Sapphire. Obviously, only the weight thing is all that they really have to go
just saying,
on.
women shouldn't be fat, and all the women in the stadium are ugly, and
etc.
they should all be like sensational Sherry.
Yes. And then Brother Love introduces Sapphire. And Jesse immediately says, "Here comes tons of fun."
Listen, Jesse in this portion of the show was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Sapphire.
It's just wow. And the thing is now is that so Sapphire comes down and Brother Love and Sherry are just dogging on her. Like they're calling her every name in the book, they're attacking her, and like Sapphire should be standing there like getting like really irate, but she's standing there with dead eyes, like as if the lights are on but no one's home. Like she's just there, just standing there. Like,
and it was so weird to watch because like Brother Love and Sensational Sherry would be, talking all this stuff about Sapphire, and then when they would pause, you would hear Jesse the Body Ventura come in and just start going off, and then when he would shut up, then was madness.
It was like I couldn't believe
it was madness.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Dusty Rhodes was catching straight everyone.
Right? So eventually, after taking every verbal jab that they could possibly dish out, Sapphire says, "I've had another thing," and slaps her.
And slaps Sherry. It goes fucking bananas.
So Macho King Randy Savage makes his way down to the ring, grabs a hold of Sapphire's face, grabs a hold of Sapphire, and starts choking the bejesus out of her. Right? And Dusty is quickly coming down to make the save, but he gets, overwhelmed. They make it to the outside, and Sapphire, I would say jumps on the Macho King, but that's very generous. What she does is falling with style, where she just kind of leans over. Just leans over onto Savage, and then after a little bit more brawling, the heels take off. Dusty Rhodes, keeping Brother Love in the ring, does a little bit of shit, gets some comeuppance, drops an elbow, throws him to the outside, and then it's some sexy dancing.
Yeah, they do their little dance, the little boogie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a grown man and I can admit things. I was boogieing right there with him.
No.
Listen, I was right there with him, buddy. That music is contagious.
If you say so, pal. Backstage with Mooney. Backstage with Mooney, with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Another person I fucking hate. His
Yeah.
whole gimmick is I'm so stupid, I'm strong for some reason.
Yeah, he's got superhuman strength. He's just the little engine that could really, as he hypes his match against the big boss man. Not much here to say. It's a typical Jim Duggan promo. All he's doing is just saying that he's going to win for the U.S. Hey ho yodi yo.
Word for word what he said.
Yeah. So then we are moving on to the next match. Bossman versus Jim Duggan. Here we are.
have no notes on this.
Here we are. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Jim Duggan and Boss Man.
Mhm.
They have fought everywhere. They have fought so many times over the course of their careers. Like, they are the ones that, like, we're destined to do this forever, you and me. Seriously, because they did it before the World Wrestling Federation, during the World Wrestling Federation. They did it in WCW as well.
So the
when
Sammy
it was Big
and
Bubba.
Kevin Owens of that
Yes,
era.
yes. They've done it so many times, and it's never been anything above average, ever. So, Boss Man comes out to the Slicksters theme.
This is such a weird pairing for me.
It just baffled me.
Such a weird.
I had no recollection of him being with the Slickster,
because he doesn't. The Big Boss Man doesn't scream as
No.
I'm gonna partner up with a black pimp.
Yeah,
like
yeah. And I'm kind of like, I'm thinking about, well, there was the Twin Towers, but I don't remember Slick being with the Twin Towers. No. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, just booped. So anyway, Boss Man comes out to the Slicksters theme, but we get started here fast and loose. It spills to the outside, and Boss Man goes into the steps. Okay, and then Boss Man quickly back on the recovery once we get back into the ring, and Jim Duggan is taking that heat. Mm-hmm. Heat. The crowd is pretty quiet for this match. I have to say.
There was one moment that I did pop for, which was Big Boss Man hitting an enziguri.
Ah, yes.
That was because I did the only reason I popped back was because I didn't know he could do that. I was like, what?
Boss Man, an agile man. Boss Man is an agile man. He can do some things, He's a great gimmick as well.
Yeah,
as a babyface or a heel, the Boss Man fits right in.
For that one part, I did.
You were huge.
Very loudly go, what the fuck?
Duggan fights out of a bear hug, starts to get some comeback in. He sends Big Boss Man over the top rope. They're quickly back inside, and a top rope move by the Big Boss Man. He's going for a flying nothing, and it misses. But then the Slick and the Big Boss Man collide, but the Boss Man gets hold of the nightstick. You know what's coming next, folks? Shenanigans. A DQ finish, as a matter of fact. Boss Man hits him with the nightstick, calling for the DQ. Jim Duggan quickly back on the offensive with a 2x4.
Take that. Nope.
No, we're not going to take it. Gets the 2x4, nails the Big Bossy Man, and sends the bad guys running. Mm-hmm. Boring match.
Very boring match.
Boring match. This one definitely brought the crowd down for me. Yeah. And I think, I guess maybe it was supposed to, because the Royal Rumble match was next, so you need that little come down period. But
yeah, I feel like they could have done
a little
literally
something.
Anything else.
A little something. It would have been nice. But here we go with the interview roulette.
Fuck, this was annoying.
Loved it.
This was
fucking I loved annoying. Every goddamn second of it. Every damn second of it. Fill us 30 seconds to a minute each.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go. Lightning round. Dino and Quake, the Canadian Earthquake, talking about the Warrior. They want the Warrior in that Rumble match, and they will do anything to get it. You understand me? I hope you understand. Okay? Because
I'm here with you.
They're in it. They're in it, and they want Warrior. We want Warrior. Here comes Demolition. Demolition next up. They're talking about how they want to win the Royal Rumble. If it comes down to the two of them, they're going to fight it out. Okay? They were numbers 1 and 2 last year. They started the Rumble last year. They know how much they can beat the piss out of each other. So if it comes down to it, it's every man for himself, baby.
Also, that's I don't think I've seen that before. The number 1 and 2. That's interesting.
It is very rare.
They should do that more often.
Yes, they should. But I mean, they keep breaking up the tag teams. So, bad news. Brown talking about how he wants to win the Royal Rumble and that it is every man for himself, if you can believe it. Let's go to Dusty Rules, baby. Dusty Rules.
He's cutting a promo, Daddy.
Yeah, and he's talking about the Macho King, Randy Savage. I don't care if I have to be in there for a while. I'm gonna come and get you, Daddy. Because it's every man for himself.
That promo was great.
I love Dusty Rhodes so much. He had the promo of the night for me. This was absolutely epic. I loved this promo.
And I was writing down notes until this one.
Yeah.
Once I saw that they were still gonna keep going after that, I'm like, all
right. Well, the Rockers coming up next, hitting you fast and loose. Sean and Marty, they love to party. And you know what's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen?
They want to win.
They want to win the Royal Rumble. And it's every man for himself. Although they do drop this little nugget of information, Shawn Michaels does. He says that they're not going to be in the Rumble at the same time. So they know each other's numbers, and they already know. Shawn Michaels already knows that Marty Jannetty isn't going to go the distance. Which I found absolutely hysterical.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you know, the numbers, you know, it probably means that we're not going to be in there with each other. I'm like, hot damn.
Holy shit.
Spitting hot fire. And then we're moving on to Hercules.
Yep.
And you know what Hercules wants?
Wait, hold on. Is it to win the Rumble?
It is to win this Rumble Royal, is what he said.
I thought he said Rumble World the first time. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Rick Martel.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love Rick Martel.
Rick Martel was great.
He's the best looking. Mm-hmm. He's the best. He's the number one. He's the men's selection. He's going to win the Rumble because it's every man for himself, baby. And then what are we talking about? Yeah, you didn't know that. But do you know that Tito Santana is in this Royal Rumble? And you know what Tito Santana wants?
His promo might be the worst one. It was the most generic bullshit.
But do you know what he wants? He wants to win the Royal Rumble, baby. Jimmy Snuka next on the docket. And you know what he wants.
No, actually, he's more of a complex character. So I think he wants to win the Rumble.
My God, you might be onto something. You might be onto something. And then it is Akeem the African Dream.
The greatest wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Akeem the African Dream and the Slickster.
Yeah.
And he wants nothing more than to win the Royal Rumble.
And I support him 1,000%.
Yes.
1,000%.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have the Ultimate Warrior. And we have his promo, and we're going to play it right here.
I refuse to understand that the power of the Ultimate Warrior has spread like a virus amongst the WWF. Then let them continue to walk as normal as they seem. But if those 28 normal men want to have special attractions such as Royal Rumble, then you and I as the Warriors, the most powerful force in the WWF, will continue to see it only as another challenge, only as another day of combat. 28 of those normal men, stacked one on top of another, can't come close to the feelings and the destinations from parts unknown. You realize, as I do, that the 29th man, you, Hulk Hogan, walk with a different force field around you. Walk on horizons that are close to where I've been. But no one in the Royal Rumble shall form a team. Every man shall fight for what he feels is in himself. And I, the Ultimate Warrior, will fulfill another destiny.
Round number 2 of the interview roulette after that baffling promo.
Words were said.
Honestly.
Words were said.
It's funny to me. Everybody else does 30-second blurbs. 30-second blurbs, and his goes for 1:20.
Who's going to stop him?
No one knows what's happening here. Kicking it off is the Macho King, Randy Savage, in round number 2. Guess what, baby? The Rumble is fit for a king to win. Fuji, with the powers of pain.
Okay. There's no way.
It's every man for himself.
Oh my God.
Are the Warlord and the Barb gonna coexist? I don't think so! Because it's every man for himself! And everybody wants to win the Royal Rumble. The Snake, Jake the Snake Roberts, who cuts another one of his fantastic classic promos.
Does he not?
Exactly. Even when he's in a 30-second tight space, he can still fire out a badass promo.
Yep.
And then we're moving on to the Hart Foundation, where Jim fucking Neidhart needs to calm down. He is ready to bust a fucking vein.
It's the 80s, baby. Come
Good
on.
God. Sweet baby Jesus. They both want to win the Royal Rumble. This much is clear. And then we go over to the honky-tonk man. It's the honky-tonk man running wild. All right? And the honky-tonk man is going to run all that wild and play all that blues on and going to win that Rumble. And then finally, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Hulk Hogan.
The Hulkamaniac.
Yes, the Hulkamaniac who plans to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, did not see that one coming.
Yeah, unbelievable, right? Holy crap, John. We finally made it.
Here we go.
Here we go. It is the Royal Rumble 1990. And after 7 minutes of Howard Finkel introductions, we moved. He took forever to get through this. He's trying. Good Lord. All right, but we're kicking it off with Ted DiBiase at number 1 and Coco Beware at number 2. Right, so it's a very, very hot start. Ted jumps Coco Beware quick, and
he eliminates him like almost immediately. Yeah, get
out of here. Backdrop out over the top rope. You're gonna hear that a lot because that was the standard mode of expiration. Side note: Coco Beware has like a sumo's head. Apparently, he's got this rock solid head. I never knew anything about this.
What?
Yeah, he takes like the things into the turnbuckle, he gets slammed in and he's just like, there's nothing here, brother. Rock solid, brother. And then he gives him like a headbutt. It's very weird. And at number 3, it's Marty Jannetty. And as if it wasn't telegraphed enough, goes for the big crossbody, and he is out of here. Ted DiBiase has eliminated 2 participants in record time.
But then, the Snake Roberts.
Absolutely. Jake the Snake Roberts enters the ring. Of course, loud, massive ovation for Jake the Snake Roberts. They take it out to the floor at the beginning. They're brawling. They get back inside. Jake the Snake Roberts goes for a DDT and is reversed. And here we go with number 5, Macho King. Randy Savage, baby. And they immediately go 2-on-1 against Jake the Snake Roberts. Until one of the loudest ovations of the freaking night once again. Rowdy Roddy Piper hits the ring at number 6. Again, why wasn't this goddamn man world champion? Why wasn't this man a world champion?
The pop that he got for this, I think even the last show we reviewed, he also got a huge pop.
He is the most popular star, like every time. It's really unbelievable stuff. Piper comes to the aid of Jake the Snake Roberts. They even things up. It's a 2-on-2. Piper has a false elimination at one point where he goes like ass over tit, and the crowd roars, like they scream. It is the most horrifying idea that he be eliminated
that early.
Honestly, number 7, the Warlord enters, and not much to say after that. He gets in there, runs a little wild. He's a big beefy boy doing big beefy boy things. Then let's go ahead and take in number 8, Bret the Hitman Hart. The ring is starting to fill up now, doing great stuff. Piper at one point tries to eliminate the Warlord, and he says to himself, he's too big. Wonderful stuff, man. And the great heel psychology here from Ted DiBiase and Macho King Randy Savage. They're having this uneasy alliance, but they're working together. They're going after all of the baby faces, which is fantastic work. In at number 9 is Bad News Brown. Again, not much to say about him. We can speed past him because number 10 is the Big Dusty Rose, baby. And Dusty Rose is looking for the Macho King, Randy Savage. Macho King, baby. Jake the Snake Roberts has been eliminated by Macho King Randy Savage after entrant number 9, but Macho King is therefore eliminated by Dusty Rhodes shortly thereafter, getting his heat back from earlier on in the night. And here it comes at number 11, the big man, Andre the Giant, who promptly eliminates the Warlord, which is fantastic.
This was past his prime.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. He was having a very tough time just standing up. He looks like he's in a lot of pain. Yeah. He goes for a chop at one point and has to grab the rope immediately.
That was not great.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Andre, but I mean, he's doing okay because he eliminates the Warlord, and out at number 12 is the Red Rooster. And after running wild a little bit, here comes Axe. And Andre the Giant just fucks out the Rooster.
Just fucking tosses him out.
Goodbye to the Rooster. Meanwhile, you have Piper getting rid of Bad News Brown, but Bad News returns the favor and pulls out Roddy Piper. Very interesting stuff there. As we continue, as I said, Axe enters in at number 13. Number 14 is Haku.
Some help for Andre the Giant.
Exactly, and he needs it. And he needs it. But number 15 to even the odds is Smash. Demolition is in the ring, and the Colossal Connection is in the ring. I think we found our tag team name. If the Sex Gods doesn't work out, we have Colossal Connection.
And then we have my pick to win this whole Royal Rumble. Yeah. Akeem the African Dream.
Akeem the African Dream, yes.
Who comes in at 16.
And during this time period, Andre the Giant is eliminated by Axe and Smash. Terrible time. I love Andre the Giant, you know.
But not this version.
No, not this version, but good Lord, he looks so terrifying. Yeah. Even still, like even the fact that he can't move, I still wouldn't want to mess with him. You know, but Akeem the African Dream, he's running wild. Does Akeem the African Dream eliminate anybody at this point? No. The ring is filling up some more as the Superfly
Jimmy Snuka
enters in at 17. Here's the deal, though. Bret the Hitman Hart is eliminated, and the referees the camera misses it.
Yeah, the
camera misses Bret the Hitman Hart's elimination.
And he was eliminated by Dusty.
He
right?
was.
But, by Dusty
he
Rhodes.
was. And the cameras completely missed it as we were looking at somebody else. So in at number 18.
Which is weird that you missed something in a Royal Rumble.
Like, yeah, it makes me feel like Bret wasn't supposed to go out at that time.
Yeah, because that's the one pay-per-view that you shouldn't be missing.
No, you should catch everything. Yeah, trial and error, I guess. Number 18 comes the Dino Bravo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and then quickly after that, at number 19, is the Canadian Earthquake. Our Canadian Care Bear has entered the Rumble. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Akeem is actually eliminated by Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
I'm pretty sure he cheated somehow because there is no way that Akeem got eliminated.
No, you know, in the Royal Rumble, it's every man for himself. You know, that's just the way that it is. In at number 20 is Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
And you know he's ready. After that promo, you know he is ready to go.
Absolutely. The ring is really filling up here. People are being chucked out periodically, but it's looking like a star-studded cast with a lot of beefy boys, and that is until the Ultimate Warrior!
The beefiest of the boys.
Yes! The Ultimate Warrior hits the ring, and the Ultimate Warrior gets the loudest pop of the night. I am going out on a limb. He is over here in Orlando. He is more over than anybody else. I wanted to listen very carefully because we are going to be doing the Warrior and Hogan saga. Specifically, we're doing a deep dive into that. So I wanted to know if the Ultimate Warrior was truly as over as he should have been heading into the main event.
He was.
He certainly was on this night.
And you know how he was over because back then those cameras weren't the greatest at picking up like crowd noise, not like now that, you know, any little noise they can pick it up, enhance it or whatever.
Exactly.
But that back then, that was a natural like like pop.
Yeah.
That was loud as shit.
Yeah, it was organic.
Mhm.
It was right in there. He immediately eliminates Dino Bravo, and Warrior is on an absolute freaking tear.
Mhm.
Rick Martel enters
Your
in
guy.
at number 22. Yes,
Yep.
my guy. Warrior cleans house some more. It's a great thing that's happening here. You can tell that the crowd during the last 10 people are electric for this. We know that the big boys are coming into play. We know that the potential winners are involved in this thing.
Here, yeah.
Ted DiBiase is still in this Rumble at number 1. He has been going on for a hell of a long time. And here comes the 23rd entrant, Tito Santana. The real dark horse of this match to win, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Oh, man.
He has no eliminations as of yet. As number 24, here comes the Honky Tonk Man. Then the Ultimate Warrior eliminates Jim the Anvil Meinhardt. The Anvil is out of here. And then at number 25 is Hulk Hogan.
Another person that the crowd, well, you know, it's Hogan.
It's Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
the crowd shit itself when he came out.
Electric for Hulk Hogan. It's kind of wonderful. Eliminate Earthquake at this point.
Okay.
A big gang up on the Earthquake. And I'm thinking to myself, is this the new monster heel? Keep in mind that 1 year later, approximately, we have a new main event heel in The Undertaker. So I'm curious as to, if Quake was the workout that they were looking for.
The next 5 were confusing to me. Well, not confusing, just kind of surprising.
Yes.
Because it was such a mix of, like, superstars with why are you coming out this late?
With whatevers. Makes sense, yes.
So Shawn Michaels comes out at 26.
That's right.
Which kind of shows you the direction the company's going.
Yes.
When Marty was number 3.
Yeah.
And Shawn is 26.
Yes, but to be fair, Shawn Michaels does not do too much better because the Warrior and Hogan respectively clean house, and it's just the two of them left in the ring.
Shawn Michaels actually lasted 12 seconds.
12 seconds. So he's the shortest man in the ring.
And Ted DiBiase lasted what was the record back then, 44 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yes, yes. Wonderful job from Ted DiBiase. And so the Warrior having the most eliminations at this point, and then the Warrior and Hogan stare down, and the crowd is freaking rumbling.
Yeah.
The crowd is rumbling at this point. They do the crisscross, they do the double clothesline, they're taken down, and in this small moment in time, it sets up so much. So much. You know exactly at this moment, especially with hindsight being 2020, you know exactly at this moment, this is what the main event is. Unbelievable. For the first time ever, we're going to have Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, colliding a face versus face encounter. Very exciting.
But that gets disrupted.
Yes.
By the Barbarian.
At
number 27.
At number 27. And then, the ring begins to fill up again as number 28, Rick Rude, who actually jumps the gun. He doesn't even wait for his bell to go. He just gets right in there and starts whooping some tail. So, it is Barbarian, Rick Rude, and here comes Hercules, the mighty Hercules.
I mean, he looks the part, at least.
He does. He is a freaking jacked individual. He looks unbelievably swole, as the kids say. And then, of course, at number 30, the perfect number, Mr. Perfect. So, here we go. The Warrior saves Hulk Hogan at one point. Yes. But Hulk Hogan, he doesn't return the favor. He has always been a bad guy.
Listen,
he has always been a bad guy.
A bunch of promos saying
it's every man for himself.
He didn't listen.
To win the Rumble. He wants to win the Rumble. But Hogan does not make the save, and the Warrior is eliminated. He comes back in, wails away on some folk, but then, he goes off running. This man's an alien, I think. Rick Rude eliminates Hercules.
So basically, the final four
Yes.
was Hulk Hogan, Mr. Perfect, Hercules, and Rick Rude.
Yes. So excuse me, Hercules eliminates the Barbarian in order for us to get down to the final four.
Exactly.
And then Rick Rude eliminating Hercules, and now it is a 2-on-1 disadvantage for the Hulkster. It's very interesting, though. It was a clever way to eliminate Rick Rude. So Mr. Perfect is clotheslined over the top rope at one point, but he hangs in there.
Yeah.
As he tries to get back up, Hogan delivers an Irish whip to Rick Rude, and Rick Rude goes over the top because Perfect grabs the ropes and accidentally eliminates him. Very, very clever. I really enjoyed that exit. Hulk Hogan, no selling the Perfect Plex. My heart is still in tatters. Good God. My heart exploding out of my chest. He just keeps no-selling everyone's finish. How anybody got over in this era.
Just wait till we get to WrestleMania.
Jesus. A miracle. And then, of course, Hogan wins, LOL, throws Mr. Perfect out of the ring, over the turnbuckle, to the floor. It was, a situation where Hogan must pose. But it was a fantastic Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it. I was completely enthralled by it. It's one of my favorite Royal Rumbles.
The amount of talent in this Royal Rumble was out of this. Like,
exactly.
There were a couple guys that, like every Royal Rumble that are like jobbers or whatever. But overall, like, there was so much talent in this Rumble.
Absolutely. And, with the things that it was setting up heading into WrestleMania 6, you got the Piper, Bad News Brown business, you got
Ted,
Dusty.
Jake.
You got Ted and Jake, you got Dusty Rhodes and Macho King, and where that's going to lead us. And then, of course, your main event scene of Hogan and Warrior. This was an excellent, perfectly crafted Rumble.
And if you're right about the Shawn Michaels thing, then it's also setting up that whole Shawn Michael Marty Jannetty thing. But this was a great pay-per-view. My only low light was the Big Boss Man fight.
Yes, yeah, Big Boss Man.
Because even though I hate the Bushwhackers with every fiber of my being, it was still a decent match for what it was supposed to do.
It was certainly a hot opener.
Yeah.
It was fantastic to see. And as I said, the Royal Rumble for me is one of the best Royal Rumbles that I have ever seen. Especially going back and taking a look at it, doing this deep dive for this show.
Because some Royal Rumbles could be
a slog.
Very tough to get through.
Very empty. This one was not one of them. I was very happy with it. Ted DiBiase was the Iron Man of this match, with Ultimate Warrior having the most eliminations, and Hulk Hogan is the victor. And, sets up a lot of good things for the biggest show of the year taking place in Toronto, Canada. So, here we go. It is match of the night. Your standout star and the overall show grade. Just John, what do you have for me?
Okay, so my standout star is the Ultimate Warrior. I think he looked like money. It set up the WrestleMania match perfectly. Because I know there's been a lot of times where you want to push the new guy to the next level, and they, the bright lights are a bit too much for them, but he handled it like a true fucking pro.
Yes.
And really made me excited for even though we it's been years, just knowing that I would have had to review it. I was really excited for that. Match of the night.
Yes.
I guess I would go with the Rumble. Just because the only other one I would actually no.
Oh.
I'm gonna go Brutus Beefcake just because I know you hate him. I'm gonna go Brutus Beef. That was not as bad a match as you think.
Beefcake versus the Genius is your match of the night on Royal Rumble 1990.
Just to piss you off, yeah.
Okay.
Just to stray from the obvious answer.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Brutus Beefcake.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
I'm not sure if you want to write that down. Brutus Beefcake.
Well, no. What I'm actually going to ask you, Dave Meltzer, is what your show grade is. Seeing as you're a true wrestling historian.
I'm gonna go for a 3.5.
3.5.
I think the Royal Rumble was amazing. Everything outside it was, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Yeah. Yes.
So good 3.5.
Well, my match of the night has to be the Royal Rumble. And I think that's I think that goes without saying.
That's a fair pick.
It's a fantastic Royal Rumble.
Amazing.
It really is. Just watching it and just watching the pacing and the setup and the structure of it, it's a very, very good match.
And there was never a pause.
No.
Like everything had like a story behind it, which was amazing.
And the eliminations were peppered through. It wasn't like anybody went on this major tear and eliminated 10, 12 people. It was like you had your Iron Man, you had your focus points, you had your storylines woven through. Made a lot of sense. My standout star actually is Ted DiBiase, and I'm going to tell you why. One is because he was the longest man in the match, but number two, and I actually watched this Royal Rumble twice to be sure while he was in the ring, he does not at any point in time hit a single bad guy intentionally. Never.
Really?
Never. He always goes after baby faces every single time, and for me, that's the mark.
Incredible.
Yes, that is the mark of an incredible man that knows psychology. Anytime there was a baby face in the ring, he went after the baby face. He never went after the heel. Even when the heel was being presented to him for a cheap shot, he still went after the baby face. There's a point in the match where Smash is holding Macho King, and he takes a cheap shot at Smash instead.
I remember. I was just gonna bring that up because I remember him. That there was one guy that he could easily eliminate, but he didn't, and I think that's the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that's
so the entire match, he does not hit a single heel. He lasts for 44 minutes. He puts on one hell of a freaking showing. And I've read his book many, many years ago. This Royal Rumble, actually, he wasn't supposed to be in there this long. He was told like hours before the show that he's going to be the Iron Man, and he was actually hungover during this entire thing. And he still puts on this performance. Absolutely fantastic. He is my standout star. Absolutely. And the overall show grade, I'm going to give it to the exact same thing, 3.5 stars. I think the Royal Rumble itself is damn near perfect. I gave that individually just a 4.5 out of 5. Damn near perfect. The rest of the show, however, is a little bit of a hodgepodge of decent wrestling, but nothing outstanding.
It was just kind of like, hey, this pay-per-view has to be a certain amount of time.
And it's like no title matches, nothing of that thing. So it is kind of an empty undercard, but it makes up for it with that excellent Royal Rumble. So I have to give it to them for that. Yes. And so that wraps up Royal Rumble 1990. Yes, absolutely. And this means that we are on the road to WrestleMania 6. That is going to be our next podcast, our next episode.
I'm very excited for that.
Yes, it is the ultimate challenge.
Very excited for
title
that
for title. Yep, champion versus champion. The Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan main event. Is it a one-match show? Was the Ultimate Warrior ready? Did Hulk Hogan kick out at 3?
Tune in next week to find out.
All of these things and more to be decided, but thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to the Colossal Tussle podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. You almost had listen. Clap. Round of applause for us. Okay, we did it. 4 episodes in. We're Hall of Famers. Okay. Chris Jericho, at me, bro.
Oh my god.
Haku, at me, bro.
Oh no.
Coward.
Haku, I'm staying out of that one. He's still a tough old man.
He is. He's a tough old bird. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Tune in next week where we will be reviewing WrestleMania 6 for what do you want to say, Just John? What do you want to say?
Because we're professionals.
Yes.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter.
Ah, yes, of course.
At the Colossal Tussle 1, because somehow we're not the first ones with that fucking name, but whatever. At the Colossal Tussle 1. YouTube at the Colossal Tussle.
Yes.
Follow, subscribe.
Yes.
Hit the bell.
Spread us around.
Yeah.
If you like what we're doing.
Hack into YouTube.
Yeah.
boost our views a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not telling you to do that, but if it comes from your heart, you know, boost our views.
Comes from the spirit. Yes. Follow us on all major platforms, of which the Colossal Tussle is all about. You can also follow us individually. Instagram for me at Director KJ, and for you,
Mine's is Pharaoh 36.
Pharaoh 36.
Yep. Make sure you follow us.
Yes.
You know, like all that shit.
Yes.
Make a Instagram account for your mom and follow us through hers. You know, get your whole family on the Colossal Tussle bandwagon.
I think you're going a bit too far. Let's wrap up this damn show. My goodness. We've done our plugs. We've done our pandering. We've done our ass kissing. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and tune in for next week. For Just John, I am KJ Johnson, and we are out.